Good morning, guys. So, this is actually not really the video that I initially intended on making. My plan was to actually start on my first pair of socks, but sadly, my local knitting shop didn't really have the needles that I needed for that project in stock, so I had to get them online. And I don't know what's happened with the postage because, like, I asked for next day delivery and I paid for it, but that didn't work out. So it's now Saturday and I still don't have my knitting needles. So that's a little bit annoying. But I figured, everything has been like really stressful the last couple of months, like with the house hunting, and then, the offer got accepted, but then now we're just in this waiting game until like they finish updating deeds and stuff. So like there's like no movement. So there's just a lot of things that are like up in the air, and then work has just been very full on. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to do a cozy craft vlog where, I'm not planning on finishing the project that I'm just doing, because this is actually for the people that have watched my organization video. They will have seen me call out this blanket. I think I called it the F1 blanket or the blanket of shame or something. And I have been working on this for a really long time, because usually I actually only work on this when we're watching F1, because it's just literally single crochet the whole way. But the reason why this is my project of shame is because I don't know why, but this project is huge. It's so big. So we have a king size bed, and this is actually where I'm recording this bit in this room. So we have a king size bed, and literally this thing touches the ground on both sides. It's that big. So yeah, literally one row takes me, I think, like 30 minutes or something. I should time it at some point actually in this video. I think it would be quite funny. But yeah, so far I've just been using it as like a little scrap yarn thing as well. So like a lot of the wools that I've got in here are wools that are like leftovers from projects or things that I got on sale or something, and I still have some of like my grandma's old yarn. And yeah, basically whatever I can find that I think will work together goes into this blanket. And as a little side note, this color combination, I love it so much. I don't know if it properly picks it up, but I just love the sagey green with like the darker green and the blue and the salmon, and oh, it's so good, especially like this color. Once we have our own house, I will drench a room in this color because I love it so much. It's a perfect color. Anyway, I think for today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of crochet, but first we actually have to take Freya for a walk because she hasn't had a walk since Monday, because I've been a little bit busy with work, so I've not really had the time to walk her since Monday, and she is very grumpy with me right now. So the plan is I'm gonna take her to the Witchwood, which is like a wooded area between Lytham and Lytham St Anne's. And I don't know why it has that name. I think there's like a gravestone of a person that was maybe thought to be a witch. I'm not sure. I need to have a look into it. But anyway, that's where I want to go with her for today. And then actually later we are gonna do a little date night with me and Ali, because we've not really spent time properly together doing a date for a while. I think because everything has been so manic, we've just sort of like let that slip a little bit. And I was like, you know what? Why don't we do like a nice dinner? I'll cook some like nice food, and then afterwards we can play some board games or something with some wine. So yeah, that's the plan for tonight. But yeah, I think for now we'll get going, go for the walk, and then afterwards we'll do a bit of crochet until it's time to start cooking. So come with me. Okay, let's start preparing dinner, and I decided on making a chicken pot roast. And first thing that you have to do is just chop some onions. I think I only did about 2 in the end. Then I put my chicken in the cast iron skillet, but you can use like whatever sort of oven pot you have. And then I just put some rosemary, some thyme, some garlic, some peppercorns, and the onions that I chopped. And once I have filled the whole pot up, that's when I would put in some chicken stock. And I also added in a little bit of white wine just to bring out some extra flavour. And once that's done, I just have to put it in the oven. And I think I left it in the oven for about 2 hours so that the meat literally just peels off the bone. And once that's in, I can just go back to my crochet. Good afternoon, guys. So, I had a little bit of a slow start this morning, and it actually has been so nice to just relax. And yeah, yesterday the dinner was a great success. Honestly, the chicken was so flavorful and it was just peeling off the bone. Oh, it was incredible. And afterwards, we actually ended up just playing like a quiz like card game and we went through the whole deck. We were having a lot of fun. It was really great. And after that, we actually came upstairs and we extended our guest bed a little bit just so that we could stretch our legs, and I put the projector on and we ended up watching a movie, and we watched Conclave, which it was a good movie. It was just, yeah, quite interesting. But yeah, it was enjoyable. And then this morning actually we just ended up having a little lie-in. We were just taking our time before we actually got out of bed. But once I finally got up, I went for another walk with Freya, and it was already raining, but it definitely got worse once we were out there, and we got absolutely soaked. Once we got back inside, I had to put the hairdryer on Freya to dry her out a little bit, and then I also just had to change back into my pajama because my trousers were absolutely soaked. Anyway, we also ended up watching F1 already, and that was interesting, especially the end was something. But yeah, anyway, for the rest of the day, I think I'm just going to stay here in this room. I'm going to put some one piece on and I'm just going to do some more crochet on this blanket for a little bit. And then later today, or well, in a couple of hours, I will start on dinner. So I'm going to make katsu curry tonight, and oh, I love the recipe, or like the sort of thing that I use for it so much. I'll show you guys later. But yeah, I can't wait for that dinner because that's going to be amazing. Anyway, let's get cozy and do some more crochet. Good evening, guys. So I hope the echo in here won't be too bad, but I've just finished my food and the katsu curry was just perfect. I love that as like a comfort food, especially with the carrot pieces being a little bit thicker. I feel like, I don't know, it's just like my comfort food for when the weather starts to get a bit colder and there's going to be a lot of rain. But I also just thought it would be perfect to sort of end the video in a nice, relaxing, like, you know, taking care of myself. So yeah, right now we're in my bathroom and I'm just like taking my makeup off and I'm gonna maybe do like a scrub as well. So as a cleanser, I tend to actually use the Aveeno Calm and Restore. So I use a lot of their stuff because like their stuff is quite good for me personally. I've got like a very, very dry skin and I find that their stuff is the best for me personally. I've tried CeraVe, is that what you call it? I've tried their stuff and it never really worked for me and I don't know why. I don't know, it made my skin feel drier than it was before. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of their stuff. And then for a scrub, I think I'm gonna do this one, which I've had for a while and I always go back on this one because I feel it's quite gentle. So it's the Neutrogena 2% salicylic acid face scrub. But yeah, it's nothing too aggressive on the skin. I quite like their stuff. And it always is quite good at like cleaning my pores out on my nose and stuff. So yeah, it's really nice. So let me just wash this off and I'll be back with you in a second. Alright, I am back and I'm just quickly going to put on this lovely headband, by the way, that I got as a present from Ali's mum for Christmas. But I use it as a thing just to keep my hair out once I'm putting like serums on and oils and stuff. So to start things off, like, mind you, I'm not I'm not a skin kind of, well, I'm not a skin guru, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just going off like what my skin personally quite likes. So I use the Beauty of Johnson. I really love their stuff and I don't really do too much with it. I just put like a little bit on my forehead and a little bit on my cheeks. I tend to then go in with some bio oil, just a little bit on the tips of my fingers, just to spread some more moisture over the rest of my face, just because I need that extra hydration. And then actually what I like to do is take a gua sha, is that what you call it? I've got like a metal one and it sits on the windowsill, so it's always like a little bit cooler, which is actually really nice. But I found, especially now with being quite stressed out the last couple of weeks, I have always had like issues with my jaw. I actually had a surgery on my jaw when I was 20 because I had a very bad overbite to the point where I was constantly having migraines and I was like eating the inside of my mouth because my teeth weren't like aligned, and even with braces they still wouldn't be aligned. Like I needed like a surgical intervention to help me eat properly. So yeah, I've always had like quite a lot of tension like here. So this just feels so nice to go over. And I don't actually know if it like depuffs your face, but I just think it feels really nice, especially on the points where I know I pack quite a lot of tension. I also have, I mean, I think this is mainly because I've got like a desk job and I sit behind a computer the whole day, and then afterwards I'm doing like knitting or crocheting. So like my eyes get really tired and I feel like a lot of strain right here or like right there. So if I have a headache, what I tend to do is actually just like massage this bit right here. And I have just a couple of like movements that I do just above my eyes to sort of like help with that pain. So yeah, all in all, this is kind of like what I do with my routine. I don't think this is like super fancy. Usually I don't really record skincare routine and stuff, so I'm sorry if this is really bad and crunchy. Anyway, after I've done my gua sha, I then just go in and put on my cream. Now, this is probably if you don't have really dry skin, you probably don't want to use this cream, but because my skin is literally like bone dry, like I could put cream on and within 10 minutes, my skin is already like, give me moisture. So I use the Aveeno Dermixa Daily Emollient Cream. So basically like this puts like a layer over my skin so that it doesn't dry out as quickly. And for my face, this is the best thing. Like even just for my body, I use this like for everything, and it's the best thing ever. Because I used to have so many skin problems when I was younger, and I do to an extent. Like right now, I actually have a little bit of eczema because I tend to not really have it unless if I'm like really stressed out, and then I get like flare ups, and they're never like too bad. I only get like small spots generally around my hands, and I think that's just because there's like a lot of friction when I'm like doing things. But yeah, usually like my skin problems aren't as bad as they used to be when I was younger. But yeah, dry skin is definitely something that I've always just really struggled with. And for me, this cream, like the Aveeno stuff, is just the best that I could find. Anyway, that's kind of like what my general routine is. And then for my hair, all that I do is just like brush it out. And then I put some like hair oil and like rosemary oil stuff in the ends. And I then just really, like all I do is just braid my hair just to keep it all nice and neat when I sleep as well. Not that I'm going to bed yet, but even just in the evening, I like it out of the way because my hair is so long and it just gets in the way all the time. But at the same time, I don't want to cut it because then I'll be really sad. But yeah, let me just quickly braid it, and then I will see you guys in a couple of minutes in the other room. Okay, I am all done and ready to sort of wind down for the rest of the evening. And just to show you, even though that I have not finished this blanket, nowhere near, but I have done about like this much, which I know in the grand scheme of things seems like nothing. But like I said again, this blanket is huge. Like even if I would stand up, it's like all bunched up on the floor. But especially this color combo here is my favorite. I love it so much. But yeah, so this is probably where I'm going to leave you guys. And I hope that you've kind of enjoyed this type of video. I know this is not really what I do usually. Like I try to like focus very heavily on craft stuff, and yeah, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed taking a little bit of a step back from having to really crunch to finish something to just do something really relaxing. And yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this, and if you guys want me to make more stuff like this, like please let me know. And other than that, I hope you've had a lovely time, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.